Welcome to the Taylor Green Media Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Green, and this is Mondays with Mike. And today we're going to talk about a really important concept, probably one that you learned in school, probably learned in college even. If you took a marketing class, you learned something really important called supply and demand. So the reason I was thinking about this is my wonderful son, who is 13, has a little side hustle, being side hustle from his work at school. But he raises rabbits, and every year or every couple months, he'll have another set of rabbits, and he'll sell them. He'll raise them up, and then he'll sell them, and then that's how he makes a little bit of extra money. And so last night at about 9 o'clock, we took the pictures of the rabbits, and we put them up on the Facebook Marketplace, and today by 2 o'clock, they're all gone. They're all sold. And, 13 years old, he's made, $100 and something. It was a pretty good little deal for a 13-year-old. But the most important principle that I want him to learn out of all of this, and an important principle that, frankly, most business owners seem to forget somehow, is the importance of understanding supply and demand. Now, it's Easter time, and rabbits seem to be a pet that a lot of people want to buy at Easter. And so he was really smart a few months ago, and he timed that these babies were going to be born and available right at Easter time because he knew that the demand was going to be really hot. And if he had the supply, he was going to be able to sell them really quickly and for top dollar, which he did. Now, I've been in marketing for over 20 years. I've been taking calls and doing consulting and talking to all different kind of clients. And at the core and base of one of their biggest problems that is very consistent across all different verticals is they have not understood supply and demand the way they need to. So the problem is they get really excited about the product. They get really excited about whatever it is that they're going to do, their widget, their program, their business, whatever it is. And they get so invested in what that thing is, they get so invested in the widget that they lose sight of whether anybody even cares, or certainly if anybody wants to buy the widget. And so what happens is they get so deep into the widget and they will not go from the widget. They won't change. They won't pivot like Will talked about last week. They won't do that. And so they stick with this widget and they just ride it to the ground. They go down with the ship. And I've seen so many businesses, even businesses you wouldn't think would go under because they were financially set, had a lot of money coming in, but because they picked and put their money on the wrong widget, they end up going out of business and they don't pivot fast enough. And so here's my challenge for you. What is it that you're selling? What is it that you are offering? And it could be your own coaching. It could be a product that you've created. It could be a lot of different things. But you really have to nail whether there's good demand for that product. So how do we test that? So when somebody asks me, hey, I've got this product and I want to get it out to the marketplace, how do I test it? This is the first thing I tell them. What your grandma said about your product is not good validation. Just because she thinks it's fantastic and you're fantastic doesn't mean it's fantastic. So don't trust friends and family to tell you the truth when it comes to your business idea, your product. Not that you're going to not get their feedback and different things like that, but until you talk to that completely cold person that has no relationship with you, no emotional connections with you, and you share with them your product and they give you honest feedback, you do not know whether you have demand yet or not. Now, one of the great things about the society that we live in right now is that Facebook offers us an ability to test products at a very inexpensive rate. You do not have to spend a ton and buy a whole bunch of media, real expensive media, like you did even 10 years ago. Now we can take an idea of a product that hasn't even been created yet. We can put that product and put it out to the marketplace to justify demand, to be able to measure how much demand we have for that product or service. And so that's point number one, is test out your product's demand by using Facebook ads. I think it's a fantastic way to do it, and you can do it very, very inexpensively. The second thing is you have got to stop looking for somebody to save your business. when I get those calls as a marketer, typically what's happened is that they've invested heavily in whatever the product is. They've gone down that road. They've spent all the money in development and licensing and all those things, and they've found themselves in a situation where we have this great product that they love, but they can't sell it. And so they call me, Mike the marketer, and say, hey, I need you to help me sell this product. Now, there's a difference between selling a product and putting it in front of people that are already looking for it, and taking and creating demand. Creating demand can be done, but it's extremely expensive and it takes a really, really long time. And so stop looking for that marketing company or that person that's going to save your business, save your product, because likely if the demand is not there and you haven't been able to prove it on Facebook or outside of your circle of influence, you probably don't have demand enough, and likely you probably don't have pockets deep enough to be able to create that demand like big companies like Nike and Apple and Disney do all the time. You have to think a little bit more strategic than that, because we can't outspend the non-demand issues with the market. So those are the two issues. Make sure that you have demand for your product. Make sure that you test it, and stop looking for somebody to save your dead in the water product. We'll see you on the next episode here on the Taylor Green Media Podcast.